All right, I'm going to have a go at the Guardian's Everyman Crossword. This is a weekly crossword, comes out Sunday morning in the UK, Saturday night here in the US, and it's usually a little bit easier than the daily cryptic. So let's see what we have. Concerning discrimination, that may be experienced following a meal. I think the definition is going to be something that may be experienced following a meal. And I'm thinking it's going to be a charade. Concerning could be re or on or about. Oh, I don't know what discrimination. Well, what would you experience after a meal? Indigestion, how many letters is that? No, that's 11. No, I can't think of anything. Let's try. It gets loaded in the morning moment. Well, a moment could be a mo, half a mo, and morning AM. So AM MO is ammo, which can get loaded. So now our following a meal begins with an A. Okay, let's try. In Paris, you twice, excuse me, assembled a short skirt. Well, the French for you, the familiar is two. And if you assemble that twice, you get a tutu. All right, so now after, could that be concerning after something? Not sure it is. Let's try another. Sounding drunk, Ms. Merkel's not quite square. Well, sounding, yes, usually indicates a homophone, but then drunk indicates an anagram. So, which is it? And then do we use the letters of Ms. Merkel, or do we use Angela? Not quite square. That might mean we take the first 5 letters of square, or is that the definition? Something like trapezoidal? No, I don't see that. Rectangular? Oh. Yeah, because I'm thinking rect with a WRECKED can be a slang term for being drunk. So I think that is a homophone for drunk. And then I think this might be one of their terrible homophones for Angela and angular, rectangular. No, I think the not. Oh, I think the question mark is indicating this is a bit of a stretch, but I can see that might be right. I do think this is going to be after or alter, but after taste. Taste can be discrimination. So I suppose the nicer form of discrimination. Aftertaste, what you get following, well, I think you get an aftertaste after each bite or sip. But anyway, we'll let them have it. How about tearing apart camel bone? Is it an anagram? Because those are odd words. But we need 10. I thought it might be camel bone, but I think it's a part camel. And we have M, T, and C. I think we have metacarpal, which is 10 letters. And that is a bone. Is that in the the hand, the metacarpals? I think so. All right, let's try sentient tech runs alternative to stairs that's used in an emergency. I'm thinking sentient tech is just a long way of cluing AI. Runs is at least 1 hour from cricket. Alternative to stairs that's used in an emergency. Oh, the lift is an alternative to stairs, and you airlift somebody in an emergency. Yeah. Buying and selling ingredients for jam. Well, with the letters we have, I'm wondering if it could be trading. Ingredients for jam. But there is a question mark, so there's something funny going on here. Yeah, I'm not sure how. Is it another kind of a jam, a traffic jam? Oh, could it be traffic buying and selling? Could that be described as traffic? I don't know. Let's try 11 across. Test consists of loud conflict, outcome of a duel. Presume the definition is test. And so that consists of, well, loud can be F in a musical sense. Conflict. And then I don't know what outcome of a duel would be. Yeah, or maybe outcome of a duel is the definition. What would a word for test be if it is beginning FA something I? No. Oh, fatalities? No. Okay. Let's try. Let's go to the northeast. Best to have tricky situation reversed. I think the definition is best, which can be a verb. To best somebody, to one up them or beat them, and it's going to be a word for a tricky situation. Backwards. What's a 4-letter word for a tricky situation? A bind. No, not seeing it. Norman cities best loved. Not entirely. Oh my goodness. I think the definition might be not entirely, just some short phrase. Norman cities best loved. No, I'm not. I have no clue with that. As if, maybe? No, not entirely. So? No, not seeing it. How about cricketers, futile, redo, botched? So seems like an anagram of futile, redo. And it's going to mean a cricketer. Oh, I was wondering if we needed to know a specific cricketer's name, but I think it's outfielder. There we go. Yeah, looks like those are the right letters. As polar bear is to dismiss a couple of batsmen. Well, that follows up on the cricketing, but as polar bear is, to dismiss a couple of... That makes me think we're going to remove some letters to dismiss a couple of... Can batsmen be B? I don't know. Anyway, now our best is something O. Ooh, and our Norman's not entirely. Let me pause and think about that one. Well, while I was paused and sipping my coffee, I was presuming the first word would be it or at. But then, for some reason, it crossed my mind that there is a town in France called Saint-Lô, which could be abbreviated as STLO. And I think the reason I know it is when I was about 10, we took a family camping holiday in France, and we took the ferry over to Le Havre and then followed the Normandy coast, I suppose, and then we went down the west coast of France. And I think we stayed or passed through Saint-Lô. And now I can see that it is hidden within best loved, and that's why it says not entirely, just part of best loved, and you get a Norman, as in Normandy, city, or founded by the Normans, I suppose. All right, that's a little bit of good fortune there, just from my personal experience and being able to drag it out of the back of my mind. All right, so I don't think that helps me with the polar bear one. What? Is there an adjective for a polar bear? I can't think of one. I'm wondering now if that's going to end in ION. All right, let's move on. Joanna's decent. Oh, Joanna can be a piano. Oh, yes, and a piano can be upright. They are decent. Fruit pie, the last, it's his. Oh, my goodness. I think maybe it's a fruit, but I can't think of one. One who hesitates verbally, missing intro, she takes a nosedive. Wow. Maybe it is one who hesitates verbally. Missing intro might be the introductory letter of missing, M, followed by someone who takes a nosedive. I don't know. Or it could be, of course, the word she backwards. I don't think so, though. EHS doesn't seem very likely. And then we have that L. But I'm wondering if it's going to end in ER. One who hesitates. No, he who hesitates is lost. Anyway, stuffy with no issues, you say. Yes, so you say is indicating a homophone, and we know they often use the word issue in the crossword to indicate children. So I'm thinking of some word for someone without children that would end in less, and as a homophone it might sound like stuffy. Well, a stuffy room could be airless, but it sounds like you have no air, H-E-I-R. All right. In Venice, orator rambling, it's too much. Well, I'm thinking it's going to be an anagram of Venice or orator, I suppose, maybe rather than orator, Venice orator. Yeah, we have two R's because I was thinking it might begin with over, But now it would be over with two R's, but let's try that and see. Otherwise, I'll reconsider. Let's shuffle that. Over, I think it's going to be a Tion. Overreaction. Yes. So it was over with another R. All right. Let's try some downs. In which money by card is blown? 5, 6. I think this might be just some sort of punning definition. By card, could it be poker or something? Is blown. Oh. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like laundering money, blow dry it, or dryer or something. No, not seeing it. Having a lot to offer. Ah, yeah, so I'm thinking of a specific meaning of the word lot in an auction. So I think it could be auction year. So just a punning definition. Swans, they have some brass. Ooh. This is one where I've talked before about a Venn diagram of all words related to swans, and then all words related to brass bands and instruments. There is a swan called a trumpeter swan, and of course a trumpeter or trumpeters might be in a brass band. One who hesitates verbally now begins with T, something M, something L. Ooh, I'm thinking of a tumbler is somebody who might, I suppose, take a nosedive, dive forward. And I think one who hesitates verbally is a stumbler, and it's literally missing the introductory letter, the S. I'm not crazy about that definition, but it'll do, I suppose. Innovative, virtuoso, eschewing simplicity primarily. Ooh, all right, this is one of Everyman's, I suppose, trademark clues where we have to take the first letters, and so auctioneer is wrong. The answer is Ives, taking the first letters of the first four words. So Charles Ives, the composer, and he did have some complicated music with a brass band or two brass bands playing different things at the same time. So is it, auctioning, I suppose? Yes. Yeah. I suppose it would have, the definition would have been one has a lot to offer if it was an auctioneer. So yeah, I should have got that. Cut into German tree. Well, German is G. A tree is an ash. That comes up a lot. And a cut could be a gash. All are reeling before end of stale beer. So I think it's an anagram of all are. Those letters are sent reeling, and then the end of stale is a final E. And in Britain, I remember even going back to the 80s at least, maybe even older, there was the campaign for real ale. So it must still be going strong. Taking some Chianti besotted somewhere on the Riviera. Okay, that is Antibes. I think I've been there. Let's see. Asians river basin, turbulent, including old, delta. turbulent is telling me to anagram some letters, but then including old says maybe then put an O inside it. I think the answer is going to be a delta. Unless it's an Asian river, but I don't think so. But then how do we get 9 letters from Asian's river basin? Yeah, it's tricky. River could just simply be R. No, not seeing that. Oh, but now I'm wondering if the definition is Asians, because I'm seeing Cambodians would fit. Let's put it in, and the river is the river Cam, and then basin is anagrammed, and you put inside it O for old and D for delta. Okay. Miss Red Eye rerouted to area by Irish Sea. Well, Miss Red Eye has 10 letters, and so I think we're going to anagram that to get an area by Irish Sea. Is this going to be one of the shipping forecast areas? Maybe not. I think it's just in Britain around Liverpool, Merseyside. All right. Lives with the French. No one can walk away from here. So, yes, if somebody lives, you can say, well, if it is, something lives, it is, and the French is le, and you can't walk away from an isle because it's surrounded by water. Everyman's, so that's referring to himself. So I think that's going to be the I. After a hostelry in Italian port, well, there is Bari. And I know I took a ferry from Italy to, where was I going? Dubrovnik, I think. I left from Bari. This was 40 years ago, so memory is a little foggy. Anyway, so now we do have something. Second word looks a bit like an adverb ending in ly, boldly, in which. No, that can't be right. Money by card is blown. Well, maybe it is something dry. No, not getting it. Let's see. Here's our polar bear. We don't have a lot on that. Our buying and selling, ingredients for jam. If it was trading ingredients, I mean, we have the ing there, but ingredients for jam. No, not seeing it. That means this would begin with G. Otherwise, if it's traffic, begin with C. Let me pause and think. I was actually wondering if it was a C that, where is it? There we go. The last, it's his. Well, a last is a tool used in shoemaking. And so if it's his, it belongs to a cobbler, which is also a fruit pie. Now, I don't think I heard the word cobbler until I came to the United States, but is cobbler a thing in Britain? Hmm. Anyway, let me know. All right, so now surely this is gettable. I'm going to pause, sip my coffee, and think about it. Yeah, so I was looking at the first word, which is unusual, something something B something R, and I did think of cyber, and then I looked at, oh, I think it's going to be an anagram of money by card. Is that the right? Yeah, that's the right number of letters. And so it's an and lit in which the wordplay also leads you to the definition, I think. I'm right in saying that. And Cyber Monday would be an anagram of money by card. And that is an occasion when a lot of money is blown. We buy things we don't really need because they're on some great sale price. All right. As polar bear is, I wonder if it could be RIST. So I'm wondering if the botched from 7 down is supposed to carry over to as polar bear is. No, but polar bear is 9, or if you had the as. I don't see how I'm getting 10 letters. And of course, we need an S with our O and R to dismiss a couple of batsmen. Oh, what do you call a couple of batsmen when two, what do they call it? A partnership? Isn't that what they call it in cricket? Yeah. Well, how about this one? Test consists of loud, conflict, outcome of a duel. Yes, I think when you challenge someone to a duel, you say something like, I demand satisfaction. Is that right? Um, and so I think it's going to be an anagram of, well, what is it going to be an anagram of? Yeah, let me pause and work out what it is an anagram of, if it is. It's not an anagram, even though a lot of these letters do show up. It's a charade, as they call it. The SAT is the test. Now, that's an American test, but I presume it comes in useful for the Guardian and other British crossword setters. And so people in Britain, I think, are supposed to know the SAT, unless there is a British equivalent also called SAT. So test is that consists of, I think, is simply is. Loud is that F, and conflict is action, as in he saw action in World War II. And then satisfaction is this old-fashioned word, the outcome of a duel. All right, just the two left. Our polar bear. Is it going to be another cricketing one? As polar bear is, we also have an N, which we don't have until the very end. So I don't think it's going to be an anagram. Well, what would you say a polar bear is? No, I think I'm going to have to resort to wordplays.com and find a word that matches that letter pattern. All right, well, this is a quite a clue. I would argue, I suppose, about the why they needed to have the ellipsis to pair it with the other one, other than the cricketing theme. But it's to do with how polar bear is, yeah, and I think dismiss is a misleading word here, but Yeah, if it yeah, it's more like how polar bear could be said to be a couple of batsmen. Well, a couple of batsmen, oh no, is to dismiss. It is the people who dismiss a couple of batsmen would be a bowler pair. And so the whole thing is a spoonerism. I think it's clever, but I think yeah, I think I would maybe have made it a little more obvious, like a couple of cricketers throwing the ball or something. That's maybe too obvious, um, but of course we do get spoonerisms a lot. They mention the Reverend Spooner often as a way of giving the clue, but here you have to, um, yeah, induct or intuit that polar bear can be a spoonerism. Now, maybe it's a well known spoonerism, and so maybe if you lived in Britain, that's a little more obvious, but not to me, I'm afraid. So, without that website to find the matching word, I don't think I would have ever thought of spoonerism. All right, so now best to have tricky situation reversed. Yes, so if someone is the best, you can say they're the tops, which is spot backwards to be in quite a spot. All right, we can't click a check everything button, so I'll put something in the comments. Last week I got sash wrong, but Pelham, I think it was, kindly left a comment with that one. So if you spot something that I got wrong, please let me know in the comments. Thank you as always for watching, and have a wonderful day and a wonderful week ahead.